Right, Louise, I'm just going to show you this next section. Okay, now this one's not applicable. Section 12, okay. And we're moving on to this one now. We're looking at activity and targets. It says our actions to support achievement of agreed goals. All right, so basically it's about target setting. We're going to try and set you some things that you're going to focus on now that are more important than others, and you know, they're going to help you move forward, hopefully, and get you back into work. So we've talked about quite a few things. I know I've mentioned to you before, and I did mention Sue, your job centre advisor's name. Can you remember why you want to see her and why I said, you know, it'd be a good idea to make an appointment with her?
Just to check really about whether I can work full-time or part-time.
Yeah.
And to have, was it a benefit calculation?
Yeah,
or
the
something
back-to-work calculation, yeah. Are you all right ringing her perhaps today? I don't know what you've got on this afternoon, but I think, you know, the sooner the better. Because then that's going to clarify for you between sort of part-time and full-time. And obviously at the moment you're not sure, you're saying you need to work full-time, but it may be that you don't have to. So
Could I use the phone here to ring?
of course, yeah, certainly. It might be that Sue's busy and she's not able to schedule that appointment with you today, or perhaps, you know, she's got appointments booked next week or holidays even. But I think if you can ring her today, sort out an appointment time with her.
Yeah.
Obviously, the information you discuss with her is confidential. I don't need to know, you know, what your incomings and your outgoings are. That's personal to you. But if you could bring me back after you've seen her some evidence that you've been on that appointment, and she'll probably give you an appointment card or, you know, something like that from the job centre said that you've been in to see her. Okay, is that all right? Yeah. So I'll just show you that. So we've put this in as a target. Okay. This part I'm going to fill in by whom. Obviously, it's an action for you. Okay.
Yeah.
But also for Sue, because a lot of it is reliant on Sue being able to do that calculation for you. I'm just going to put in brackets that it's your job centre advisor. I know that you're going to ring her today. I said you can use the phone from here, from TNG, that's not a problem. But as a by when, if I say sort of this time next week, so that will have given you a week, you're contacting her today, hopefully next week, if you can come back to me and let me know the outcome, either it'll be you saying, well, no, I've rang her, she's off, you know what I mean? But hopefully if you can get an appointment prior to next week and come back to me with that evidence, okay. That you've been. And again, you know, if you let them know that this is a booked appointment with your job centre advisor, it won't affect, you know, your time off or anything. Right, next one. Again, I want to sort of relay everything to what we've discussed earlier. So we've looked quite a lot, haven't we, at your job goals. We've looked at some personal goals. From this and our discussion earlier about sort of obstacles and things that you think are stopping you from getting back into work, what do you think we need to target next? What do you think will help you next to, you know, get a job, basically?
Probably how long I've been out of work, so probably the work experience.
Right, okay. I've actually got your appointment to see. Have you met our placement officer, Dawn, yet?
I think that's the lady who came to see me on induction.
She did, yeah. She'd have come into induction to have a chat with you, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
I've got your appointment time. You've seen her, it's tomorrow apparently, so you've seen her on Thursday anyway. Okay. And I think, yeah, that is important. If you can speak to Dawn regarding your work placement and she can get you with a placement provider as soon as possible, then that straight away addresses the fact that, you know, you've no recent work experience, and as I said, we can update your CV with that as well.
Will they come to the interview with me?
They can do if you'd like them to arrange that. Right, yeah, okay. Certainly. Make sure you get enough information from her before you go for the interview, because sometimes it's just a very informal, relaxed one-to-one, and sometimes there's several other people going to that interview as well, so you could be up against sort of 3 or 4 other customers from TNG. You know, try and get a bit more information about it. You know, she'll be aware of the sort of questions that they'll ask you at the interview. And it just helps you be a bit more prepared for it, you know, of who you're going to.
I think I will be quite nervous about that.
So if you speak to Dawn, it's Thursday. So we've got that. We've got scheduling appointments with Sue. We've got you arranging your interview tomorrow with Dawn. Anything else? If you remember sort of some of the other obstacles and things that we were discussing right at the beginning when we were looking at job goals and personal goals.
Probably this bit about my CV, getting my CV up to date and improving it really. Yeah,
I agree. Certainly we're looking at, you know, sending these out as soon as possible, aren't we? And that not being something that stops you or restricts you at the moment. So your next job search day will be next week, next Wednesday. All right. Have you met the job search tutor?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Can you remember his name?
Is it Dave?
Dave, it is, yeah. So if I put within here that on your next job search day with Dave, you're going to update, you're going to bring in your current CV that you've got. I know you've said you don't like it at the moment, so you're not happy with it. So we'll take a look at that. Dave will be able to help you to identify, you know, something better that you're more happy with. He'll take down the information about, you know, your job at Woolworths, and we can start to put that in. And then if you're able to work on it yourself on IT, you know, on word processing packages that we've got here. So are you happy, Louise, with those dates? Are they okay? And as you can see, I've prioritised them so that, you know, this is the thing that we're focusing on today. This is tomorrow, okay, and this one isn't till next week.
Yeah.
There are other things that I could put in here now for you, all right? But because, as I mentioned before, we're going to be coming back to this ILP, so this isn't by any means complete. There are other targets that we could talk about now and we could put in and work towards. But I think it's important that you just focus on these three first of all. All right.
Yeah.
So, you know, let me know when you've sort of achieved any of these. Come back to me, please, when you've spoke to Sue this afternoon, and I can update these and put some notes in.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that all right before we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah? So you understand how we've like linked these targets now to everything that we discussed at the beginning, which was to do with your job goals or your personal goals. Yeah. Okay, that's great.